All right, we'll call to order meeting of the Board of Trustees for the Fairfield Public Library at 7:06 p.m. First item of business, roll call. Aaron Harrigan.
Present.
May Baer.
Present.
John Capasso. Present. Peter Wilner. Present. And Stephanie Versari did inform us she wouldn't be able to attend. All right. Next, we'll open it up to public comments. There appears to be none in the room as well as on the online meeting. So with that, we'll move to the approval of minutes. Hopefully everyone has, excuse me. Hopefully everyone has reviewed. Are there any edits or changes that need to be made?
In the version I have, maybe it was updated. There's a missing last name, page 2.
Oh, the budget director.
And the other thing, minor point, but for some reason under old business, I think the font's different than all the rest of it.
Oh yeah, it's slightly smaller. That I'm less concerned. Scott, do we have the budget director's name just to make an edit to that? Frank.
No, Frank is gone, it's Michelle's.
Oh, to replace Frank.
It's Michelle, Michelle, Cardentey.
Oh, boy.
Cardentey.
Oh, Credenti.
Cardentey, yes.
Oh. Yep.
In school district?
I believe so.
He's awesome.
All right, any other changes?
That's the new budget director, right?
It's
Interim, yes.
the intern.
Like the old Frank's last name.
Do we have it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Google it. Magneri, Magneri. Mag.
All right. With those edits, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved that the library board of trustees approves the meeting minutes from. I will second.
All in favor? All right, so moved. Moving on to our next item of business, chairman's report. Not much to report. Obviously, we'll get into it, but One Book, One Town was announced. Very exciting. Apologies for not being able to attend. I had some meetings this morning. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday, and welcome back. Looking forward to a very exciting 2025. Oh, I don't think we got to fix in the agenda. I just noticed. This is January
24.
Yeah.
Writing 2024 and
Yep.
everything.
I thought I fixed that. Okay.
Oh, don't worry, everyone. I was just changing all dates to 25 recently in the document. So, all right. With that, we'll move on to library updates. So, Scott, I'll hand it off to you.
So the holidays didn't slow things down. Adults enjoyed programming about pets, digital story time, and even did a thing of holiday trivia. Families took part in an annual library tradition, which is very popular, which is the building of gingerbread houses at our Woods branch, which are then judged. We partnered with Fairfield PTA for a film screening. We did Hour of Code again, and of course, Hour of Code had a dance party. It seems like every children's program now has a dance party. Teens created cards for Apple Rehab. We have some great pictures on social media. Really, really sweet that they did that. They helped with an all-age Harry Potter event, which included a giant chess game. We bought giant chess pieces and they played out on the main floor. We did some readers theater. We had our annual community art show, which was incredibly well attended this year. On the operations side, we launched our annual Reading Roundup podcast. That was a popular run. The Makerspace had a series of programs and we're really ramping that space up. The weather tested the HVAC systems. We just had cold, hot failures. DPW really did a good job of staying on top of it, but it's been a struggle. We're getting new PCs for staff, and we did need to take away privileges for a few library patrons. One library patron lost their privileges for a year for stealing from the library, caught by the police, then went to Woods. And then another library patron lost their privileges for about 3 months because they were looking at pornography on the public computers.
Like you're asking both.
Video games.
Video games.
Video games. So here's some items we will touch on in next month's report, but I think it's important to know about them. Today we announced to a nice sized crowd our OBOT selection for the year. This year's One Book, One Time selection is Marie Helen Bertino's Beautyland. It's a great book. It was actually my favorite book of 2024. So it's really worth reading. We now have a dedicated electric vehicle for book delivery, which is kind of cool. I got to drive an electric car for the first time, which took me a good hour to get used to. Staff Development Day, which was Friday, was a huge success. I would say the majority of our staff were there for at least part of the day. There was training. I'll get into it next month. We had a bunch of different training, and we also did a SWOT analysis group work to build our strategic framework. Friends are putting on a comedy show. I'll let Mike talk about that later. And also, we got last year's numbers in from the state report. We'll be providing a full report next month, but here's some highlights. In 2024, FPL circled 54% higher per capita than the state average. And compared to similar libraries that the state designates, we were about 13%. And this is before turning on automatic renewals, so we should definitely see those numbers grow in the coming year. Our program attendance was 98% higher than the state average. Our reference transactions were 90% higher than the state average and comparable libraries. And this was a really great kind of statistics, because this is what I've been worried about. Residents with library cards were 30% higher than the state average and equal to comparable libraries. Now, I still think there's growth there, but that was kind of good to see when we were in the comparison numbers. And that's it for my report. I'll leave the floor open to questions.
Any questions? Those state numbers are awesome.
What do you consider comparable? When they say
Oh, I gotta look. It's, it's gotta be, they have the same budget size, and
West
then
Hartford.
Just out of curiosity.
West Hartford is one, Westport is one. I'll look.
Great. All right. Next item on there is the town budget request.
So, went relatively well. We met with the administration, about the preliminary request for the town. We are talking about a sizable increase. It's about a 6% increase. However, the town wants us to go over our part-time numbers. The increase is mostly from part-time wages, with what we believe will be overtime costs coming with the new payroll system. And also, and this is something that the board has brought up in the past, with the hope of opening on Saturdays from 10 to 5. I know that's been the number one thing people have asked for since I've started, and I know that the board has been asked about this as well. So those are the two things. I think we're gonna do some tweaks, and we're gonna come back, and I think it's something that the town will be really comfortable with.
Okay.
There was some concern about cutting our income line anymore for going fine-free. It is gonna be a hard budget year for the town. We were reading those tea leaves before the meeting, but that was definitely the most intensive town administrative budget meeting that we've done. So we're gonna think, we're gonna really think about, we built into this year automatic renewals and maybe going fine-free for children. I still advocate for that, but I want to see how the budget process lays out before we make a decision on going fine-free for children.
How big of a cut do you currently have in the income line?
So this year, we didn't ask for a decrease at all. But they really aren't comfortable with us cutting anymore. And they'd like to see a little bit of an increase in the income line. We are internally discussing increasing the fees for room rentals.
How much is the amount?
30 grand. It's really not much, but I mean, when we're asking for 15 grand, it's kind of hard to say. We're asking for 15 grand and we want to actually make 30 grand less. So it's kind of, right now, there's a lot of apples to oranges kind of trading off, and that's.
All right. Any other questions regarding the budget request? All right. And hold on.
So we pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I figured.
I would say we had about 30 to 40 people that came today. It was really nice, actually. Dave Becker, who's now the town
Town CFO?
CFO. No, he's no longer CFO. No, he's Chief Operating Officer, CFO. So all of the selectmen had to be in Bridgeport for the Bill Pile hearing. So it was cool though. David came out. It was nice to see, and also Adam, the head of purchasing. So it was actually cool to get some department heads there. We had the chamber there. We had representatives from OBOT, almost all of the partner organizations, a bunch of friends, which was great to see, and news coverage. We had news there from Patch, who have already run a story. News 12, we probably won't get an online story. It'll probably just be open that they run during the day. And I know WSHU, the NPR affiliate, they were there. They interviewed us. I didn't see a story pop up before the meeting, but she told me that they're definitely going to run a story. So,
Right.
it's a good event.
I was watching online, it seemed like some people were watching online.
Yeah.
Is there a children?
There is a children's selection as well. What was it like? I didn't write that in my notes. What was it?
Middle grade.
Middle grade, like a middle school.
There's not one. like
Chil-
there's
yeah.
not
There's a middle grade one.
six.
Which title right now escapes me. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Good,
Right. Sure, it's in the lobby.
good something.
Real quick, I did get notes from David and Peter that they weren't able to log into the call. Do we have an updated link?
So
Can't even get to that.
can you sign into Zoom?
Aren't we signed in?
You're right now it's running as if it's dual monitor.
Nancy's here, so.
Yeah, it's
obviously-
running as if it's dual monitors. So what you need to do is,
We're open it. There you go.
if we could text them.
What happens if you copy that invite link?
Word.
Just go to the email and send it.
Sure. You do, it's copied, so send it to your email and go from there.
Is this going on there or not?
No, it's not. You can dual monitor.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, how is it sharing your screen? That's really
Where?
weird.
Where's it sharing my screen?
So, you know what?
Andrew.
Oh,
Well, this thing I can point to. Yeah,
Double
but
up?
you're sharing the
it
screen.
goes back.
That's because you're
My password's invisible.
There's the mouse.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Hold on. And share.
Oh.
So your screen is being shared. Let's get this on the recording. We can double see.
All right, so who am I sending this to? Who am I sending to? Peter?
Yeah,
Peter Wilner?
yeah, there should be email.
And who's the other person?
Peter and Dave.
You can't.
Thought you were on this email.
What's his email?
David's is. davidcantor1@gmail.com. Scott,
Yes.
just an FYI, I just noticed that in the, because I was looking to see if Jan was on the board packet email.
Yeah.
You still have Chris on there,
Oh, we do? Okay.
which I'm sure he loves getting these.
I saw him the other day. We came in to get a book.
The stack of books for 5 children.
No, I think he was getting a book for himself. There was only one book in his hands.
Closing this. You close that? Oh, you can't see what it is.
Yeah. All right, so while you're doing that, we're going excuse me. We'll move on to the policy review. So I see there's a decent amount of red lines on here, which,
So this, we're not voting on anything tonight. What you see in the red line version for this is the lawyer's edits, which we think they're all clear and clean. There will, so I'm gonna allow these to go through. And then once I allow these, can you let David in who's in the meeting room?
I can't get to that. So you're using the cursor on that.
Yeah.
All right.
So these edits will get, I think we'll leave them in. There will be some edits coming from the staff. We have a managers meeting and there's some stuff they want added in. Nothing substantive, just some wording. Phil wants us to incorporate some state level wording into it. But other than that, it's really not going to be a huge change.
okay. Okay, great. All right, with that, we'll move into our committee and liaison reports. Fundraising committee, Stephanie's not here. Meg, is there anything to share?
No update. I saw that we have the gift acceptance policy with these edits from the attorney as
Yeah,
well.
those are edits from the.
And I'm not sure if I'm seeing the edits we discussed in our last meeting. But anyway, that's a separate agenda item, I believe. So no other updates from the
All right. Building committee.
No updates, so I guess Scott and I spoke to town. And
Yeah, so I'll be meeting with the head of the project managing group on Friday. The town is definitely interested in a woods project, but they would like it handled by their project managers. I have no opposition to that whatsoever. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So have a conversation with Eli, and then I figured we talk and we'll set up a meeting after I meet with Eli to see what they want to do. I'll kind of let them know really the point that we're at is we have the budget to kind of hire an architect on to give us some ideas.
Yep.
What we can do with the building.
Great. All right. And then Friends of the Library. Mike.
Thank you. Mike Foley, Board President, Friends of Fairfield Public Library. If anyone has any friends or family in Los Angeles, we send our thoughts to them. At least one library has burned to the ground. But on a lighter note, in our never-ending quest to make money, we are doing a comedy show here at the library. The origins of this stem from my friendship with the person third from the right, Matt Orphis, longtime Fairfield resident, thinks he's funny. And he and I got talking about the idea of a fundraiser. 1 year ago, they did a fundraiser at the Scandinavian Club for Fairfield Family Services, raised a bunch of money for family. Matt said, what would you think about doing one to them to the friends? I said, that's a great idea. We would lose money because of the venue fee. I said, well, how about that? So I said, it's not up to me. I do know someone there. Scott was receptive to the idea, and that is how we settle on this. It's a quick turnaround. You'll see it on February 8th. We're going to go live with everything tomorrow with a press release. This flyer you see here. Forgive me, I did not have the library logo on here. It will, right next to our logo, when it goes live. And between the email database that this this group of comics is called Comics Bring the Heat. They've been well established. They have a solid email base. The Friends email listserv will go out to our members. The press release might get a little attention and whatnot, but I'm confident we can sell about 120 seats.
Seats, yeah.
If the board would like to buy a table, I can accommodate you. The QR code will be live tomorrow. As other local connections, Lori, the second from the left, her mother was on staff at the Fairfield Public Library many years ago. She was thrilled to come meet with us at our previous meeting along with Matt as they pitched this whole the idea. It's clean, and it's a cabaret style. We're allowing people to bring their own snacks. So hopefully everyone will behave themselves and we'll have a fun experience. We have a crack production crew setting up lights and sound. They did a walkthrough the other day and everything went well.
Everything went super well.
Great.
We mostly talked about bands.
Yep.
Once we got the setup. So we're gonna do it on the main floor. So just like we did with our other talks.
Great.
Clear out the main floor, set up the stage. This challenge will be the light situation, but that's something I wanted to explore anyway, so I think we'll get there.
Right now, all of my friends on the board are selling as many gift baskets as we can for raffles and other sources of revenue and whatnot. This is not going to be a gigantic moneymaker, but it's fun. I have high hopes. So, and it could become a somewhat regular thing. The quick turnaround was due to a comedy show here at the Shoe in early March. So we had to sort of space that out a little bit.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, we would have waited a little longer, but we're going to dive right in and sort of see how this goes. But like I said, the capacity is not that large. The ticket price is on the low side, so I can't match that.
What is the capacity going to be?
125?
We
give or
could
take.
probably do, we could do 125 with table seating. It's gonna be tight, but that's what we can.
Okay.
That's fine.
Good to know. Well, that's fun. That's a fun idea. It really is.
Yeah, I was heartened by the fact that they have a track record locally. So
Yes.
this is not a fly-by-night organization. It's the risk to the friends is minimal. We're not going to lose money, and if it goes well, then I think we could revisit the idea in the future.
Fantastic.
Hope to see you all there.
And this is going out tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome.
And I hear tickets are going fast.
Love it. No, great idea. Yeah, looking forward to hearing how this goes. Cool. All right. Next item, treasurer's report.
Yes, I do have a date error. I got 2025 correct, but it should say December 31st on the top row. So just overall, we're at 10.4 million for the total endowment. It's about 16% over the end of 2023, so very good year. All due to increases in the market for the most part. Overall, I don't have anything else to update on, though I do want to get, and I know I updated last time around as well, the new account opening moving. I need to get myself back into, I've locked myself out of Fairfield County, or First County, I always call it that, First
Couldn't
County.
get in.
No, did you resend?
We reset it.
I think, that was because, I don't know if you noticed on the reconciliation charge that was in question, we didn't know what it was for. And so I inquired at the bank, and I think that they locked the card out. We weren't able to use it.
Got it, okay.
But we have since, earlier today, we resolved that issue, and I did send that to the bank as well, so hopefully it'll clear out.
And I have gotten, I have to say, which is a good thing on the bank side, I probably in the last, I think you were copied on one, Scott, I've gotten probably 2 phone calls over the last 2 or 3 months inquiring about charges, which is nice that they're on it. They've been, the Sterling charges, and I was able to, it's helpful, I was able to go pull up the approved, expenses from the prior board meeting, so that's a good
Oh,
checks and
great.
balances, so
That's really
it's all
good.
working well. But I do want to get the money that's in there from the donation over to Vanguard. It's just sitting there at this point, right? Probably earning a little interest. But we need to get the account opened first, which I have to get the Vanguard Mercer guys rolling on, get all the approvals in place. I'll give myself a goal to do that by the next meeting. At least get the more of the paperwork side.
I was surprised how little interest that amount.
It's probably,
I do want to report that we will be getting another large donation. We
Oh, wow.
just got notification from the probate court. We were one of 10 charities named in Colin Matten's will. So it's going to be a little over 200,000.
do you know if that one has, you know what percentage?
Unrestricted.
It's unrestricted, yep.
So, and you're planning to, what you're gonna do with this? That's
Yeah,
gonna
it's
come
interesting.
soon.
If it's unrestricted, do you think we can just, should we keep it separate as well? Because the, can't remember the woman's name. The 300,000 donation that's currently at First County, that has specific purpose, right?
Right.
So we need to track that separately versus if it's unrestricted,
Yes.
can we put it into one of the existing funds?
Theoretically, I would think it should go into the existing fund.
Rather than, I mean,
Yeah,
I'd love if we could keep up this momentum because this is the third large donation in what, like 4 or 5 months?
yeah, we need to spend it so we don't miss questions. I mean, I think, I don't see why it wouldn't go
Yeah,
into
this is
the,
the special purpose.
general-
for specific
yeah.
purpose. Okay,
that was part of why we were looking to do the other accounts, was if it was purpose.
yeah, then we have to, of course, track it, yeah.
Yeah, we want to make sure the interest of those, the interest accrued by those donations goes to the purpose as well. But this, I think we could go, just one of the existing.
We also have the Judith Edmonds donation that I believe came in during COVID and nothing really happened with it. It's 22,000 plus. And I believe that it's general purpose, so I believe you
It can go
might want to
as
put
well.
that in there.
Okay,
Okay, great.
yeah, that's all I have for today.
May I have your attention,
Great.
please? The library will be closing in 20
All right.
minutes.
So with that, we'll move into the reconciliation from check registry, hopefully everyone's had a chance to review. Any questions with anything that's on the check registry or reconciliations?
So there's 2 different styles there. The one that you had been getting that is directly from QuickBooks doesn't say what funds or what items were purchased, so that was why I made this one on the request of the auditor. And it's got all the information, if anyone has any comments or anything about that. And then, as I mentioned, that discrepancy has now been.
Okay.
ACLB is the Association of Connecticut Library Boards, which the board is a member, so that was what the fee was, but it didn't give us any clue really on the statement. That's what it was for.
The only other one, the Richard Hockman deposit, it's uncleared.
Well, that just came in after
Oh, the second, okay.
December, so
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the case, but. Oh, and then if there's no payee on here,
Where's that?
so if you look at the deposits, so like credits cleared, 1213,
On the, on that one?
yeah, check the reconciliation.
1213?
Yeah, if you look at the deposits and other credits.
Oh, yeah, that's because it's split, like it has two, it was two different types of money, it's spelled out in the other, is it? It was two donations, one was a $25 donation, the other was a $200. So QuickBooks, if it's one deposit, they don't tell you both
Gotcha.
lines of it.
Okay. Any other questions? No, I like this new format. All right, anything else? We have a motion? Okay.
I so move the library board of trustees approves the December reconciliation and check registry.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, so moved. Now with that, we'll move into old business. First item is the code of conduct, which everyone has in here, lovely red lines on it. Got anything that we should,
No, it's just cleaner language from the attorney. I think it works really well. Love the addition of other designated non-smoking areas, because I would love to make the whole property non-smoking. Other than that, this is a very clean version of the policy. I have no issues with it.
random question, I just happened to notice this. He's moving to all the section 1, section 2, section, make it more formalized.
Yes.
Figured as much. Does anyone have any questions regarding? All right.
Excuse me, I don't see on here the approval of the check for January. I don't see it in the agenda. Is that usually part of the,
That's usually part of reconciliation and
Yeah.
the check registry.
yeah, so can we just back up and do that then?
We just did
Approve
check,
the,
we just approved the check registry.
the checks,
Check to be
upcoming checks, is that what you mean by check registry?
Yeah, usually
Yeah.
a check registry is just the list
Yeah,
of
we-
checks.
Oh, okay, well, I just wanted to let you know that it's slightly different than what was sent out in the packet. What I distributed today is correct, it's about $25 difference because we weren't sure on some of the costs for staff development. I'm sorry.
No, look, I mean, it looks similar to what, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's why I did not pick up on it. No, thank you. Yeah, it was part of the approval for the reconciliation, and the
Okay.
check registry.
Okay, sorry.
That helps us to, well, I guess we can just bring it or have it as reference. This is helpful, seeing this laid out would be helpful when we're approving.
This is the check for
This
approval.
is for-
These checks have not yet been,
For-
The other one,
As we're reconciling,
In the
so
previous.
the only challenge with that is it comes straight out, that's how it comes out QuickBooks.
this one or
Yeah,
the,
no, the other one, that's
but
the
even
report.
just to be able to cross-reference. Maybe
From the
just-
prior month, you mean?
I don't know what you mean.
Like, this is January, and then the December that we're looking at doesn't have the
Explanation.
explanation, exactly.
We do
But we can just,
page that was added, right?
It's pretty much the same thing,
Pretty much.
except the column that's missing is the, class, like if it's at programming or administrative or.
I guess we, yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
That's.
You just might run into issues with delays in check depositing as well.
Right.
So it could be a crossover to the next month too.
Yeah, and like some of
That's
these,
exactly what.
some of the things I'm asking for approval aren't happening until the end of the month, and then probably clear.
No, this makes sense, that makes,
Okay. Well, let's throw by Janet Fisher. In the name.
Yeah, that's me. I doesn't believe.
First time I signed your time sheet. Serious, I was like, I'm signing time sheet. She's like, who's Janet? She's like, that's me. No, okay.
That's great.
Sorry.
Yep, so we should, we're all good on that. Next item of business is the gift acceptance and stewardship policy. So lots of red lines on here. Now, at this point, May, you were mentioning,
I think that this is just the version we looked at last month with the town attorney's comments, but it does not have the comments we discussed. Or maybe those just were never. Either there's now two versions, like he was updating,
He was
The last
updating the last version. So,
or I'm not sure if Stephanie had a chance to update.
so my suggestion is for the committee to come together again, look at the attorney's edits, accept what edits, and I can be at that meeting, we'll accept the edits that you all want to accept, and then add in any additional language based on those.
But so I don't think this is ready to.
I would agree with that. So with that, we'll table this item for today. As part of the fundraising committee, just come back together on it, take a look. And if there are things that we wanted to add, first review the legal feedback, and then add in whatever's missing from that we discussed. And then Scott, if you could help resubmit that to the town attorney, then ideally we'll have something to vote on next month. All right. So with that, we move into new business, the Meg Simcoe Fund. Now, Scott, just out of, do you want to just speak to why we're
So
withdrawing?
this is a fund that's restricted. And it's, was restricted to, we can only purchase material that aids those with sight impairments. So, we're asking for $15,000 this year to spend out of that account to buy e-material. Kindles are like the best, buying one for my mom in a couple weeks.
Yep.
They're the best things. And also, doing audiobooks, most of the e-material actually be audiobooks. And we also have spent through our large print budget in the town, and there are some large print books we need to purchase.
Okay.
The Simcoe's the 300,000.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Just want to make sure. So that's sitting in,
First County right now.
okay. So we don't
Don't need to move it.
need to move.
Well, most of it.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions regarding the draw that we're looking to do on this particular fund?
So one quick one, and that is this the first draw off of this?
This will be the first.
Okay.
We just received it last year, maybe the year before.
It,
Time goes.
I think it was last year. Yeah. So it was like little under a year ago. Okay. Do we have a motion?
I guess, sorry. So now what do you guys then do? Like, are you making this a full order?
Well, actually, you approved expenditure of 10,000 in the checks for approval, sorry.
Of the 10 of
I
the
did see that. I did see that.
10 of the 15,000?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure, like, how do we ensure that that 15,000 really goes to, we're just gonna buy it all upfront?
Well, for one thing, our hoopla costs have really skyrocketed over the last couple of years. For the longest time, our bills were like $2,600 average for years. And then they went up to like 3,500 and it kind of was plateaued there for a while. And the last bill was almost $5,000. 3,500 of that is audio. So that's per month. So we were thinking about ways that we could cut those costs. And then I realized that we had this money
Yeah.
available exactly for that purpose. So that would just ease that
Okay.
burden.
So you'll just basically track it on your end, what?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So to that point, is there gonna be an account associated
Well,
with,
I called it the Simco Fund.
no, I know, in QuickBooks? So when we look at the,
Simco Fund?
well, because right now,
Oh, like
it's not like in the
fund that is actually.
the check reconciliation report, this one?
We haven't spent any.
No, I know.
It does say here, Simco.
It says, yes, it says it on,
Oh, not on the other.
Well, you'll, next month, or whenever that check is cleared, it will be in this column account, and it'll
That's what
say
I'm saying,
calling
just to-
fund
that it's gonna-
Simco.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. That's exactly what I was asking. Yeah. That was the question. And that actually, it raises a question for me and how we want to handle things of this nature, because this technically doesn't hit our budget in a sense, because it is operations. Obviously, we don't, it's not operations, it's circulation. Because we don't, I guess this would fall similar to programming, right?
I think, in my mind, that once these funds are designated by the board, and we have a number of other ones, and there was actually a check approved here also from the Smith Fund, which is a long-standing fund that we've had that was designated for use by a previous board many years ago when we received the money. So these monies that have restricted purpose, it seems like once they're designated for that purpose, then we can spend them for that purpose. And it's off of your budget. It's not part of your budget, which is that transfer of money according to that formula.
Yeah,
So
correct. This is
these
above
are
and
like
beyond
off budget
Exactly.
expenses.
It's
Yeah, so
more
that's
of,
not, it's not gonna eat into that. I
no,
don't think
no, I agree. I'm more thinking like in terms of how much we want to draw down from it as needed.
That would be for you to decide.
So that's why. I
And then
raised the
once you
question.
decide it, then you don't have to worry about keep bringing it.
Similar to the way we do.
We
Yeah.
figured at budget time for the board, we'll kind of carve out what we want to spend in each one of those categories. And I think that's good to go through that process annually, because at some point, the market's gonna.
Yeah.
So, we might be having a very different discussion this time next year. And so I think it's important that in every budget process, we look and say, okay, this is what we made last year in interest.
Yeah.
Do we want to spend that down? Do we want to take a little bit from the base of it? I think that's a discussion to be had. And it also, the town may come to us and say, we're cutting your book budget. And so then we have to really think about, we're going to need to use more money from this fund to make sure that we're still buying the appropriate material.
Quick question on that. I assume the answer is no, but when we did the budget last year, this wasn't like in the budget.
No.
So that's why you had to get it.
Yep.
Other thing is, it's about 5% drawdown, so it's not outrageous. Yeah.
Exactly. It's more just a question of, and I think Scott's point is right, as we look to, as we have some of these different funds, restricted, whatever, in our budget planning process, that as we come up for that, the next few months, that we have the conversation of what our standard operating procedure ought to be, so that we are, mindful stewards of the fund.
I like the idea of, this is what we anticipate during budget time.
Yeah.
Look at it, and I think as we go throughout the year, we go over or approaching that, then it gets raised.
Yeah. Yeah, just at the end of the day, I just make sure it's not seen as.
Please check out material
you know, a kitty that can be pulled from. We have, we're
Right.
managing to it. Obviously, these are valuable resources. Don't want to throw that in the question, but it is, as we eventually get them into our Vanguard account and have them growing, growing with the, you know, with the market, that there is a solid base for it to grow upon.
I mean, and you already have a policy in place that looks at how much money you made the year before.
Yeah.
Instead of zero to spend. I am a big fan of look at what you made in the market and see what you're comfortable with
Yeah.
spending.
This is more mindful of the more restricted accounts.
Yes,
So,
because those will dry up fast.
yes,
So,
natural.
Well, I think it's good that it's gonna be in a separate fund. This one.
Yeah, exactly.
Treated
And
different.
we can address that. It's just more of, I wanted to put the question out there that we have some level of planning against this.
So if we can get this allocation now for the rest of this year.
Yes.
And then next year, we'll have a number that we'll request from that fund early in the year at budget time.
Yep. Now, is the 15,000 for the remaining fiscal?
Yes.
next year.
Okay. Great. And yeah, John, good points. Correct, 5%. Not overly significant, but it does address a need, which is why the money is there. So I do think it is a valid request. I just want to make sure that as we have these conversations and we think about the budget, that certain amounts that we're holding, we have some governance around it. So with that, do we have a motion to approve this?
I will make a motion that the library board of trustees allocates 15,000 to the Meg Synchrone Fund to be used for large print and e-material.
All in favor? So moved. And with that, we've reached the end of our agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor? All right. So we will adjourn our meeting of the Board of Trustees at 7:53 PM.